Oh, thank you. Right there, yeah.
Make for just a little bit of room. Don't trip there. You okay? Right through the forest here. So you do it.
Hey, how you doing?
I hope so. My goal is just to make sure that get it instantly hurt. People who make their work here. In fact, Marty and Hank know a lot of these people. He did mention them all he wore every day. I wore a Dixieland coat. Everybody else has sombrero. More people here than I had pictured.
My mother had in the 70s, and I love it. They're pretty bad at
Yeah, it's around in the front or something.
We met in Florida. How are you? Nice to see you. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi there. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. You look lovely. And you look handsome as well. I am Stephanie Town. I'm Travis Town's wife, Holly Town's daughter-in-law, and somehow I got chosen to greet you today. So I will say thank you. Will you just give yourself a hand? Because you look amazing. You have endured the food line. You found a spot. And now I hope you'll just sit back and relax. Will you do that? Will you just sit back and relax? Because the one thing that we all know about Holly Town is that she loved you. She loved her friends and family, right? She had that smile on her face that just said, I am at peace. And she always just kind of seemed like the queen in any crowd because she was at peace, right? So we want to do that today. The spirit and intent of today is just to relax and enjoy each other. There's some people that you know here, some people you don't, but will you just relax and in the spirit of Holly, just enjoy being together. We've got some people that are going to be singing and playing and then sharing some remarks and some thoughts and memories about Holly. And I hope you'll just remember her and not be sad, right? We're just going to enjoy her and remember all the things that made her life wonderful. And I hope you'll celebrate her with us. Will you join with me and welcoming Jean and Al Lumpkin as they sing Dimming of the Day?
Can you move that microphone so Jean can sing? Thank you. You got to move. Welcome to Folk Club. There's the stage manager.
Yes.
We already blew it before we even got started.
When Niels indicated that we could take a moment for some thoughts about Holly, no more than a minute.
No more than a minute.
The word that came to me was appreciate. I remember a conversation in which I said to Holly something like, it's really great when people work at creating blessing for each other. That's what I'm talking about appreciate. Appreciate, enlarge, uplift, make greater. I look back at all of the times that I was ever around Holly, and I cannot remember not feeling appreciated.
This is a song that we have played with Niels and Holly many times in different countries and on different ships, and we will miss her harmony on this.
Sure make this easy on you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you everybody for coming here. And there's a whole bunch of people here. I'm going to point just a few people out and ask them to stand up real quick to be recognized. So Travis, can you stand up real quick? This is Holly's son, Travis, in one of Land's twigs right there. That's Kenna. And Holly's brother, John, is right there as well. John. And then my daughter-in-law, Stephanie, is right here. You've seen her before. And all of this organization you see around you here, I don't deserve any credit for that because Stephanie did all of this. So thank you. And then the last people I'm going to brag about, can all of the Dutch folks stand up, please? All the Nederlanders. My mom, Frances, my sister Nita, my brother-in-law Rob, and my two nieces, Afi and Faye. And that's the extent of the whole family we have here. There's a whole bunch of There's a whole bunch of other friends here as well. There's musical friends, there's former neighbors, there's friends from all kinds of walks of life that we have run into. And I think if there's one thing that everybody probably remembers about Holly, it's that smile, right? And the other thing you probably remember about Holly is that crying. It happened when she thought a song was beautiful. It happened when she thought something was nice. It happens when she was upset or angry. And it makes for a pretty complicated relationship. Why are you crying? Because it's beautiful. Why are you crying? Because you're being a jerk. You see that one coming. So Holly was one of those people that loved other people and loved enabling things for other people, loved giving to other people. I met Holly online, on the internet, but not through Match.com because that came about 20 years later. It was in 1990 when I was in Amsterdam in Northern Europe, and Holly was bringing kids from inner city Knoxville, Tennessee onto the internet to give them a view that was a little bigger than just their inner city environment. And every Wednesday afternoon she would bring these kids online, and you know, when I say talking, we would painstakingly type out messages, and 8th graders are not very fast typists, I can tell you that. And we would exchange experiences about different parts of the world. So they would ask questions like, Amsterdam? Where is that? And I would ask questions like, IHOP? What is that? So after talking with all these kids, we got to talking after school as well, and that oftentimes went deep into the night. And then in 1991, Holly was like, hey, I'm getting some computers to put into kids' homes, and I'm going to pick them up in Boston, and I need some help getting that done. What do you think about flying out to Boston and meeting me there? I'm like, okay. I got nowhere else to go, so why not? So I flew into Boston to meet somebody I'd never met before at the Boston airport. My plane landed at 10 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, there was no Holly. And this is, of course, before the time of cell phones. And at midnight, there was still no Holly. And I was like, oh, boy. And at 12:30, she shows up. Didn't you get my message? No, I got no message. Oh, I called the airport. There was traffic construction, and I had a flat tire. And you know, that's how we got started off. So I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. So fast forward to 1993, when you know I had for the last 2 years spent about half my time in the U.S. and half my time in Holland, and realizing that, well, we better do something. And so we decided to get married, and I moved to the U.S., and that's when the real adventure began. I, of course, had to start a business, and she decided about 2 years into that business, when we weren't making any money, that she wanted to get her master's degree. And I was like, oh, great. The one family income that we do have is going to quit working and get a master's degree. What could possibly go right? And of course, she aced her master's program and went back to teaching. And then after a while, we got to the point where my company was fairly successful, and we decided to move up here. And I should actually be more accurate and say I decided to move up here. So imagine a school teacher after a long week of teaching school, sleeping in on Saturday morning while I went to the office at 7 in the morning. And then at 8 o'clock, I got the call from the company bosses up here to say, hey, come move to Northern Virginia. So I called home at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and said, honey, I got great news. They offered me the job. We are moving to Northern Virginia, baby. Insert long pause. This time she didn't cry. We're moving to where? We're not moving to Northern Virginia. Never! Click. Well, maybe there would have been a better way. So needless to say, about 4 months later, we moved up to Northern Virginia. And about half a year later, we got a job offer. I got a job offer from that company in California. I figured that might not be the best of plans to take that job offer. So in 2001, I quit that company and decided to start another company. And then the owner of the previous company calls me and goes like, hey, I'm starting a wireless internet company. And I'm like, crap, that's what I'm doing. Last time you bought my company, so might as well come talk to you. So I flew out to California, talked to them, and they offered me a pretty great job. And I called home from California, and Holly's like, I can hear in your voice that you really want to take the job. So just take the job and go to California. And I was like, wow. And then I found out later that she had no intention of moving to California. So when we were married 15 years, I decided to fly home from California on our anniversary and show up at the door with a big bunch of flowers and say, happy anniversary, 15th anniversary. And Holly's like, well, actually, I've been doing the math. And given all the time you spend in California, it's actually only been 11 years, 8 months, and 3 weeks. Message received. So Holly also did a lot of other things for, you know, this besides her internet project that was aimed at middle school students. She did a lot of other things for other people as well. She was involved in dog rescue. She ran a couple of successful businesses. She raised a great kid. She wrote a book, actually, which a lot of people don't know, and she did a auto harp DVD where she had this fantastic idea of, oh, we're going to record people and then we're going to slow it down and do it from different angles. And I was like, sure we are. How hard can that be? A year later, I knew how hard that could be, and it was very hard. But always Holly would smile, and always you would see that smile on her face, and she would selflessly help other people, and she would have fun, and wherever she walked in a room, she would light the place up, and you know, everybody would always be laughing, and I'm glad that everybody here is laughing too. So that's kind of how she wanted to live life, and that's how she lived life, and I greatly respect that. She enhanced the life of other people, sometimes at her own expense, and I think there's probably not anybody here that doesn't have a good memory of Holly and how much she loved life and how much she loved music and how much she loved people. And what she asks is that today we celebrate her life with laughter and with fun and with a good time, and you know, that's what we're trying to do. So obviously I'll miss her, obviously we will all miss her, but I think we all have great happy memories, and you know, I know she and I had great 25 plus years together, and those memories will keep me going a long time. So thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that all of you got to know Holly and she got to know you, and I know she meant something special in your life, otherwise she wouldn't be here. So thank you for coming, and let's have a good time, okay?
Now we're welcoming Neil and Colleen Walters. They're going to play the song Crossing the Bar. But I hope you know, if you want to sing along, you know, because she loved to sing along. The lyrics are all in your booklet here, if you'll pick it up.
I'm sorry. Nothing like wiping out the audience. Yeah, if it could come. All right, while Neil's getting on his putting on his auto harp and picks, I just share quickly a very little brief memory. One of Holly's favorite indulgences was York peppermint patties. And in the back, there's a bowl full, at least one for all of you. So that, and I tell you this so that you remember the next time you're at the grocery store and you're standing in the candy, or the checkout line and the candy is right there, you'll see those peppermint patties and think of Holly.
Well, Al mentioned appreciate as the word that he would choose, and I think one of the things I appreciated about today was the chance to hear Niels tell that story. I hadn't heard most of that. It was wonderful. What I think about Holly is that she had a passion for many things, but when she decided that she wanted to pursue something, she threw herself into it like 1,000%. The auto harp was one of those things, and there's several auto harp people here today. I know one story that I remember quite well was that I had these picks, these auto harp picks that I had got from a Kickstarter campaign for the guy that was doing the ultimate guitar pick. These are supposed to be guitar picks. And I had invested in that. And Holly, I played for 4 or 5 months with these things, and they were just about to fall apart. And originally the Kickstarter only put out medium size, and I needed large. But there were no large at the time. But when Holly saw these picks, once again, she threw herself into this with great passion, contacted the guy. She became his rep in the United States. She took it on the road to Europe and sold all these picks all over the world. Came back to me and said, "You can have your large, and I can get you a discount." So, thank you very much. Now, this is a great song. It's, of course, the Alfred Lord Tennyson poem, and the music was written by Ronnie Arbo, who is someone I do know. and it's got a great chorus, so we welcome everybody to sing. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. May there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. When I put out to sea. When I put out to sea. May there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. For such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sand or foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Turns again home, turns again home, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. When I embark. When I embark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. And though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar, when I have crossed the bar, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar, when I have crossed the bar, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Now we have Travis, Holly's son, and Alexis, her granddaughter, coming to share some remarks.
woman. She always said that she was the queen and I was the princess. I always thought she was the queen of music. She went around the world to spread joy and music to the universe. So now it's my turn to spread joy and music to everyone. So I promise when I grow up, I will carry on the tradition of spreading joy and music across the world. I love my Oma very much and she loved me. I think we can all agree she was a wonderful woman. My Oma was a very spiritual person, so I would like to pray a prayer for each of us, if that is okay. Dear Lord, thank you for the life you gave Oma. Thank you for the joy, beauty, and grace she shared with each of us. I am thankful that now she has no pain or tears. I am thankful that her life is now filled with joy and music with no end. Will you watch over her and give her the best that heaven has a promise that our hearts will always be well tuned. Please help us not to be sad, but to remember the joy she brought to our lives. Help us to love others because we felt her love. Help us to care for others even more because we felt her care. Help us to sing louder, dance more, and smile wider. Remember her light always. Thank you for always for her light. Amen. Amen.
Good job, Lex. I know many of you don't know me. My name's Travis. I am Holly's son, and didn't get a chance to come up a lot of times, but wanted to make sure that you knew how much that my mom loved and talking about the folk club and talking about all the wonderful people that made her life such a special time. And we didn't always get along. I remember back in 3rd grade. If I had hair, I'd flip it right now. I sang the song, God Bless the USA, by Lee Greenwood. We worked for days on the timing, right before that big pause, the crashing cymbals. I'd gotten it right every time, except for the day of the talent show. On that day, Eddie Cooper sang the same song and nailed it perfectly. I didn't. Afterwards, I was very distraught, and as my mom tried to console me, she said those fateful words, "Maybe you just need to be a drummer." I didn't agree with her. But later in 4th grade, my mom worked in a shop that often had a live band playing out in the courtyard area. I would dance to the music and people would throw pennies. Just pennies. Not dollars, not anything of value, just pennies. Well, again, my mom consoled me with those fateful words, "Honey, you probably just need to be a drummer." And actually, that was the time that I actually started playing drums, because the drummer took me under her wing, and she started teaching me. And I didn't want to believe her, but years later I took her advice, and every time I hear God Bless the USA or think I'm on audition for So You Can Think You Could Dance, I remember her love and support for my musical aspirations, no matter how misguided they are or were at the time. In fact, she actually handmade my very first snare drum case, including special pockets for my book and sticks. At the time, I didn't understand the love that my mom showed for me by creating something this personal. Now, as a dad, I appreciate the care and intention behind such a gift. My mom was a very singular individual who loved those around her, and who taught me how to invest in those who were put in my path. For the students she taught typing, she invented a way for them to practice while looking at their fingers by creating a shield out of PVC pipe and fabric that would block their view of the keyboard but allow them to type. I remember helping her put together those inventions and trying out each prototype. She would explain to me why she was spending so much time of her own money and time investing in the lives of her students. As Niels mentioned, she taught computers at a middle school, at Vines Middle School, and she piloted a new program with this new technological phenomenon called the World Wide Web. She wanted to help her students interact with their counterparts all over the world, spurring interest in them, not only for the school, but for life experiences beyond the school walls. Even though I said I didn't want to become a teacher due to the long hours and emotional strain and low pay, her passionate involvement in the lives of her students is something that was placed in me and has guided my path, both in my career as a teacher and as an individual. Just a few days ago, about a week after she passed, I received a package in the mail that was from Mom. It was a Christmas gift to my daughter Alexis that had been ordered on December 17th of this last year and had not been delivered yet. It was a book that she thought she might enjoy reading. It's about aliens. The card on the gift had a riddle as a clue to what was inside. This was Mom's gift-giving trademark. As I read the card with my daughter and we puzzled over the clue, I could not help myself. I just had to laugh. I love the reminder that even though Mom is gone, her legacy of intentionally investing in others will live on. The time it took to make the clue for each gift given was such a little thing, but the intentional care behind it was the trademark of a wonderful woman. And what a woman she was. I hope I can pass on this trademark to my children and their children, not just with the clues on cards, although I've actually started doing that as well, but also with the willingness to invest in others, the care for those around you, and making it seem as if the world could stop for them just for a moment, and then expanding their view of what is possible for the future. This was my mom's heart, and I pray I can keep her alive forever in mine. Thank you.
And I think it's so fitting that with all of her technological advanced, we have an online audience today that's joining us. So it will feel to them hopefully like they're here with us. And there was a song that we wanted to play because it was one of Holly's favorites. And we thought how fitting that she sing it herself. So if you would love to hear her sing, will you enjoy Shine On as recorded by Holly?
So shine on, silver moon. Love is gone, love will be back soon. For the new moon and the old moon are the same moon after all. And the heart is always full. Freedom, freedom in my soul, destiny out of my control. When my freedom and my destiny look each other in the face, feels like life lived in grace. So shine on, shine on silver moon. Love is gone, love will be back soon. For the new moon and the old moon are the same moon after all. And the heart is always full. Children playing in the sun, old men, old women come undone. When the new ones and the old ones look each other in the eye, feels like love never dies. So shine on, silver moon. Love is gone, love will be back soon. For the new moon and the old moon are the same moon after all. And the heart is always full. Yes, the new moon and the old moon are the same moon after all. And the heart is always full.
And now coming to speak to us as you dry your eyes and clean your face is probably, I would say, the speaker that's come the furthest, Nita Jonker from Holland.
Hello, I'm Nita. I'm the sister of my brother, Niels, and a sister-in-law of Holly. And we think life is all about making memories. And it sounds a bit strange, but my husband and I were both nurses, so we know what it is in life. Our first memories of Holly, that is about 26 years ago. Niels moved 1 year later to America, and he was already telling you that that whole adventure had not started in Amsterdam, but actually in Amstelveen, where we live with our mother in Holland, behind his computer. And slow internet, very slow internet, time difference, 6 hours, and Holly and Niels were typing. So all night long, you hear typing. Mom and I want to sleep, but you hear typing. And he was a very fast typer, so you can hear. Very nice. Actually, you understand, I moved out with Rob to Amsterdam. But that connection that could move some uplifting, so that's when he moved to America. Meeting Holly, we all knew what was happening next. I didn't know that story. It was new for me. When he left, and she became his very lovely wife, and really the woman of his life. And although Holly was a bit older of age, she wasn't in mind, and especially not in spirit. Age made no difference. And after a year living in the USA, they invited us to a vacation, and we visited with the whole family. And it was an adventure. We came to know Holly as a free and modern thinking woman. She made us a part of her life, welcoming us in the American way, and even including her with her mother and her stepfather in Florida. We visited Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, and even Tennessee. And it was a special way. All Dutch folks and our luggage for 3 weeks packed in a trusty Ford Explorer. So you all know how that went around. But we loved it. And for us, really, a Ford Explorer is a huge car. Because, you know, in Holland, we all have the tiny cars going around. So we felt very comfortable. And she had something like, oh my God, all those people. She made sure that we pull up of all the right sides. We even saw a launch of a space shuttle. And yeah, very special. And then she took us also to a Kennedy Space Center so that we can actually see where the platform where it was launched from. She always took us to all those nice things. First trip to Disney World, that was really a party, especially with Kermit, Niels' favorite puppet. And Holly and Niels were married on the 5th of December. And that's a special day in Holland. It's called Santa Claus. And I'm not going to explain you about Santa Claus. It's a long story, but it's very traditional. It's very Dutch. And that's with chocolate letters. So if you have your name, like an H from Holly and an N from Niels, you can get it in chocolate. And you give it out. And we also eat cookies, and they were speculaas. They're a little bit cinnamon cookies. Very nice. Actually, try them if you've ever been to Holland. Try and get them, because we always have them. We always love to send them cookies and letters. And of course also the Dutch language that was very, for Holly, very special was the word cadeautje. And she can pronounce that. Dutch is a very odd language to speak, but cadeautje, it's Dutch for present. And she loves, also what Travis mentioned, she loves cadeautjes. So each day of each year we send a package for Christmas and of course birthday cadeautjes. And always when we came out, she said, "Do you have cadeautjes for me?" Yes, of course we have cadeautjes. Another word Holly would pronounce very well is the word Scheveningen. Maybe you try?
I can do it.
Yeah. Scheveningen is an iconic place, beach place in Holland, and she really, really loved it. Every time she visited Holland, with Niels of course, we took them to Scheveningen, to the beach, to the pier, the wind, and she has some great memories, also from early age, because when she visited Holland, when she was like 16, she also went to Scheveningen. That's very special. When I was in labor, the two beautiful girls over there, my daughters, actually Holly and Niels told me, don't first call us. When you feel something, you have to call us because we want to call. So I was in labor, first of course, Niels and Holly, and after that calling the midwife. I think they immediately flew into Amsterdam. So Ava was born at like 3:30 at night, Faye was born at like 10:30 in the morning, and the next day, 8:30, they were around to hold fresh babies. It's very special. Amy and Faye now remember Holly as a favorite aunt. They only got two, but Holly was really their favorite. She took them to Disney World and some of the amazing museums you have around here in DC. And if you ask them, what do you think? And when we say Holly, they'll always tell you the love of music, playing the alto harp, and of course singing songs together. And when something bad happens, you know, sometimes you want something as a child, and parents say no. She always said like, come, there's a song for you. That was okay. They were also aware of her health issues. On our last US visit, when Mom got 70, Holly was able to go with them, but only with a scooter. But they said, okay, it's okay. We know. The last time we saw Holly in person was on the Holland American cruise ship. Some of you were there. Yeah. And we had a great time. It was a year ago, I think. Yeah. Yes, about a year. You were in Amsterdam, we're going off the ship. We live in Amsterdam, we're going on a ship, and we had a great time, enjoying music together, exploring the ship and the pool. And she was always telling about all loving people here around, and how she loved to play music, be on a ship and see the world around her. The last time our mother Frances and I saw Holly was when Niels was sworn in as a US citizen last September. And that was a very memorable event that made Holly very proud, and we all are very proud. Losing Holly is a big lose, also for Frances. She visits her over Thanksgiving many times, and she always enjoyed it. Turkey, shopping, a lot of music, being here with you at the folk club, and there's also a special word for that. When she came back, I always asked my mom, and what did you do? And she said, well, this, that, and the other. And then it was very gezellig. And gezellig is a thing that it's standing for fun, loving, having a good time. So that's always a thing that Holly said, well, let's make it gezellig. Holly's heart operation was necessary to improve her health. Unfortunately, that after 6 weeks of fighting for her life, she had to let go. She chose her beautiful spot in the forest. We will remember Holly for the rest of our lives, and when we ever have been in a beautiful spot in the forest somewhere, we'll remember Holly fondly. Her heart failed, but she's in our lives and in our hearts. We want to thank Holly and Niels for the beautiful time together and for everything you both have done for us. Niels, we have a lot of admiration for how you support and help Holly in these difficult times. It's quite difficult to be with your loved one, see it happen, and realize you can't take the challenge on her, of her. You did what you could, and more than that. You deserve a lot of respect for what you did and how you did it. You did a good job, little brother bear in the forest. And now we're all here together to remember all the beautiful memories we each make with Holly in our lives. She lives in our hearts and minds forever. Thank you.
Ron Goad is coming, and he's going to deliver a poem that was actually written by Rod Deasy. So there's two different names, but Rod Deasy wrote it, but he couldn't be here today. So thank you for delivering this.
Hello, everybody. Some of you were at the naturalization ceremony when Niels became an American citizen. Could you raise your hand if you were there? And that was a great day. Holly was so happy and so proud. That was a beautiful occasion we'll never forget. And aren't we glad that Niels is an American now? And Holland is a great country. My mother was an Updike, so it's a good country to be from. So yes, I have a poem by Rod Deasy, but I wanted to mention what a wonderful, wonderful occasion this is. And I think in a few minutes you're going to hear one of Holly's favorite songs, I believe, called The Rose. Stephanie's going to perform that. And I know that was a beautiful, important song to Holly, and she had songwriter Anna Keller learn to do that. She said, Anna, you've got to learn to sing a song that somebody else wrote. Anna does original songs. And one time, and then they worked on it together, and Holly and Anna were sitting together, and Anna said, could I add a harmony? And Holly said, well, do you know the part? And Holly said, well, there's your answer. No, you don't. That was the answer, no. So I saw Holly a couple times a week when our band, the Harriet Americans, would rehearse at their house. And the last time I saw her shortly before she went in the hospital, we were conversing, and I expected to pick up the conversation about a week later. She was only expecting to be in the hospital 3 or 5 days. So I'm kind of mad about what happened, but we just have to accept it. There's nothing we can do, and we love her dearly. So I'm honored to be asked to read this poem by our mutual friend Rod Deasy from England, who's part of our Harriet Americans road show. And once a month we're at Lake Ann in Reston. So as I'm reading the poem, perhaps you can picture sitting by a cafe there at Lake Ann in Reston having a good time. Rod and Holly. And I had to go to a dictionary to look up a couple of words in the poem here, and then I found out, much to my surprise, there's no way Rod could have known this, but both of those words have to do with plants that are related to roses. I thought, that's pretty cool, Rod. So on with the poem here. Transition from remembering to remembered is never a crueler transition than in a cold April, as squads of daffodils patrol the waking landscape to usher in the season of renewal, accentuating loss. And we wait, lives changed, while that questing spirit has already moved on. Soon enough, summer startles us, lifts us, dazed, on a warm wind from the south, and sets us down at wood's edge. There, bee orchids bloom in the sun, and honeybees buzz industriously amid the mallows in the meadow street as afternoon passes. Then twilight draws us to fairy lights, hung like tame stars around the plaza. We sit quietly at a cafe table, raise our glasses in a silent toast, and listen again to the evening's music rippling across the lake.
I thought it was so fitting that I should come down with a sinus infection this week, because whenever I came to Holly's house, she would find, I sing for a career, and she would find some way to fix me. You know, Holly had her remedies that she knew, and she'd say, well, honey, what have you been taking? And I would tell her, she'd say, oh, no. And she had so many, and they all work. So I thought it was so fitting that I should be sick this week, and I will enjoy it on her behalf.
Ben, laptop.
Just started it.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender leaves. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. But I say love, it is a flower, and you, its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance, and it's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and it's the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. And when the night has been too lonely and your road, it has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember that in the winter, far beneath the winter snow, lies the sea that with the sun's around. In the spring it becomes the rose. And my dear, you are the rose.
Never throw a line in at the end of a song. Gets you every time. And now coming is Holly's brother, John Hunt.
wish I didn't have to be here under these circumstances, but it seems like that's all of us. We arrived here in Sandusky, Ohio, where we were born, and were there just a short while when my dad was transferred, new position with his company. And so we moved to Philadelphia and settled in the suburbs there. We kind of lived a fairly ordinary life, I thought. Of course, when you're a kid, you have nothing to compare to, so you don't really know. But we were busy. We helped around the house. We did some chores. We were super busy with activities at school. I recall a time that I learned that Holly had joined the AV club at school, and she was one of, I think, maybe the only or two girls who were in this club. These were typically the geeks of the operation. It's like, I didn't follow that. I just know, why are you doing this? Well, she was the type of person who focused on something she was interested in, wanted to do. She could not be dissuaded from that. And she would sort of gracefully say, never mind, I've got this, and she would proceed and she would accomplish it. She was amazing in that regard. She was a little bit of an aside. She had moments when she seemed like she was somber, mysterious, and couldn't really read what was going on with her. At least I couldn't. But now I really think there wasn't much going on at all, other than just a pensive state of a thoughty type of person that considers things, kind of weighs them, and not necessarily headed for, some sort of solution or resolution at all, just pondering. And she seemed to do that a lot while in high school, I guess, mostly. We were so busy then that we saw each other, of course, but we were so involved in our activities that it was hard to know her, because you really didn't get a chance to talk about what you were doing with each other at all. Evenings at home, then, homework was first, always. We had TV, oftentimes watching programs. We had great discussions about who is the bad guy. It can't be her, it's him, I know it's him. And so we had this sort of informal wager going on to see, it's like, you're always right. How did you know? What? That was great fun. She had lots of hobbies, interests, and I don't recall any of those necessarily specifically what they were, but she was interested in things like the needlepoint kind of thing. When she was younger, no one was without potholders. You know those little things, and they were everywhere. So she was just into that sort of thing. She'd catch on to something somehow, and that was it. I mentioned we did chores around the house. We spent time with music, and I can't tell you for sure when music became part of us. It wasn't in the home so much. It wasn't without interest at all, but not as, performing, playing, that kind of thing. I can tell you that our school system in Springfield had an extensive music program, and I really have to credit that. What they did was in 3rd grade or so, they would offer an aptitude test to students for music. If you answered the things the right way or showed some sort of inclination, then you had an opportunity to try out for group lessons on instruments that you commonly find in a band or orchestra. The school provided instruments if you
didn't or were unable to get one, you got to leave your regular classroom duties to attend each week this group session of maybe like 4 or 5 people who were learning, say, clarinet, or others trying violin, or that could have been the other way around. But in any case, so we had that opportunity. I was able to take advantage of that. That got me started. I don't know if Holly did or not, but I suspect that's where that probably began, right there. Holly was also interested in other activities, not just that. And when she got her first guitar, I came across pictures. I think I saw one here where I think she had one of the, not really a guitars, that Mickey Mouse kind of thing on there. But she was thrilled with that, and it's like you couldn't unhook her from this. She had to eat holding this thing. And so, but when she got a real guitar, I think I may have been going to school by then. I do know that there were lessons from home. She took piano lessons for a period of time. Didn't stick with that very long. I remember attending a couple of recitals at her teacher's place of business. She took dancing lessons, the usual ballet, some tap dancing, that sort of thing. She attended, I had a group that Mom and Dad had arranged for an art teacher to come, and a group of my friends that come to the house would be studying art and learning some drawing skills, and she would attend that with us on occasion. So that was kind of, for me, why are we here? Why are we doing this? And but we kind of enjoyed it. It kind of exposed us at home to the arts, the finer amenities of things. So it could have happened there. I recall Holly taking baton twirling lessons. She gets hooked on something and just get out of the way, you know, off we go. She took lessons, and we could hear her upstairs twirling that baton and thump on the floor. And after a few times, you could hear Dad say, "Take it outside." But she did make the majorettes who twirled batons, you know, marching before the band, and was able to toss the baton and catch it, and so she was thrilled about that. I recall sometimes having, when some sort of family event was going on, cousins had come to visit, that sort of thing, and so people were in the living room, we're talking about this or that, or some fairly important topic for us. She would come to the doorway and kind of stand there and say, "I have to talk to you about something." And I said, "Okay, just a second." And so I'd step aside, and she'd say, "Mom wants to know if you want mustard and relish on your hot dog." Well, I'd like both, please. Thank you. So what did you want to talk to me about? That was it. But then we had these important messages to take care of. I don't know why it was like that, but she did that with lots of things. It's like, bless her heart. It made mustard and relish taste so much better for some reason. We got to travel quite a bit when we were growing up. We did trailers way before there were RVs or things like that. People who used trailers usually were picking lettuce and stuff like that, so this was not a thing at all, not then. Our grandfather had developed and built what probably was the first pop-up camper. So you could actually, it was cranked down for travel, the height of the vehicle, and when you got to where you were going, up it came, and actually complete with bunks 3 high inside, too. Wow, that also cranked up. We never got to try that, but Grandpa fixed us up with a trailer that we took to Florida. Dad was a Florida cracker. So we would head down to Florida dragging that thing. Gosh, that thing must have been heavy, you know, behind the brand new 53 Ford that he had gotten. Visiting all states all along the way, you couldn't make a lot of miles in a day back then. So you really got to get a taste of everywhere you went. You had to slow down or you would be contributing to the coffers of the local burg. And so we were exposed to a lot of things that way when we did that. So lots of fun times doing that, seeing lots of places. So we had been around. We were, even when we were younger, taken out of school to go to Florida for a week or two. Now, how they arranged that was just to explain that this was sort of a way to expand our horizons and experiences, that sort of thing. And so Mom and Dad would get the information from the teachers of the material that we were supposed to cover, and then we would do those materials while we were on vacation. As we traveled, if you did 150 miles, 200 miles in a day, that was a pretty solid day's ride. But each morning, to kind of break it up, they had arranged for us to have some little tiny treat. Stuff like you would find for stocking stuffers or at the dollar store, that sort of thing. Just little things to sort of break up the pretty long ride for a couple of little kids. So that made it kind of interesting. And I recall on one of those trips, Holly had been fascinated with horses for quite a long time. Nobody understood, parents included, where this came from, but she was quite the reader, so it could have come from some Misty of Chincoteague type of book or that kind of thing. She was absolutely fascinated. Well, in this one trip on the way back, we visited Uncle Jenks, my dad's brother, who had a farm in Georgia, and when we got there, horses, 2 horses. Well, finally, she got to get on one of these horses. Now, these horses were retired, let's just say. These horses, on a particularly active day, might go and that was about the extent of the activity. That was kind of it. So she talked to everybody into helping her get on this horse. I'm not sure. She might have been 7, 8 years old. I'm guessing on that one. So she got on this horse, who stood there. It was a sunny day, Georgia. I'm not sure exactly where, somewhere central, I think. But, so not a lot of breeze. I don't think they do breeze there at all. And so she sat there and said, well, I'm going to go over and do some of these things over here. And so, where's your sister? She's, you know, out there on the horse. And so we go back once in a while to kind of check on her. Don't you want to come? Aren't you getting hungry? Are you thirsty? I'm fine. Sitting on that horse all afternoon. Finally, we coaxed her off of it, and she was just beaming. She had gotten, she didn't, we never would tell her she didn't really ride the horse. Who would dare to even think such a thing? At another time, same place, she got on the horse, and I think it might have been the same visit, but maybe next day, something like that. She gets on the horse and figured, okay, we get the drill now. It's going to be all afternoon. So off we go. And then the next thing we know, somebody comes running in the house. The horse threw her. You know, it's, oh my gosh. So we go out there and we have these pictures in our heads. And she's fine, a little shaken up, but she's okay. And not ready to get back on the horse just yet. So Dad does the usual kind of dad speeches, well, you got to get back up on the horse and all that sort of thing. She eventually did, but after that, I don't think she had the same kind of interest in horses. She was fine, horse was fine. So I think maybe Horst was thinking, not another day of this, you know. We enjoyed other activities as a family too. We had a boat, we did skiing, water skiing, that sort of thing. We did fishing, swimming from that. We liked going to the Atlantic coast, the shore there, because we could go play in the surf. We did something called the surf rafting, with these blow-up rafts that you could just paddle out and then ride the waves in. Nothing elaborate like you would see in Hawaii where there's big surf, that sort of thing. Later on, we took our trailer, this is a larger one now, and we parked it sort of semi-permanently at a campground that was just outside of the Ocean City, New Jersey shore. And we kind of kept it there, treating it as a cottage. And so each spring we'd kind of go down, open it up, clean things out, and we might find a few creatures saying, what a great place to have a house for the winter, don't you think? And so this one particular spring we had gone down, opened the place up. Well, there's mouse droppings everywhere in this thing. Well, that's not unusual, but this was especially busy time, you know, that winter. So we cleaned everything up, and Holly was really worried about this. She liked little critters and stuff, but not in here. So we got everything cleaned up. Are they gone? You have to promise me they're gone. All of them are gone. They're gone, my dad would say. We've taken care of all of them. I mean, these things, they had built nests in the oven, so if we hadn't checked and lit it up, well, you know, not a good thing. In any case, she still wasn't convinced, but she agreed to go in, and we had dinner and that sort of thing, and she was still worried about the mice. So I'll set some traps, says Dad. So he sets a few traps out on the counter, and then we hit the sack, lights go out. We had just drifted off to sleep. Snap goes one of those traps. She said, let him go, let him go. So we wake up and Dad finds the thing and sent him back out. I don't know that she slept the rest of the night, but she was really upset that the mouse had to go that way. Oh well. Back to guitar for a second. I don't know when she did that, but she did well with it. I was in school, so I wasn't really privy to some of the stuff. I just recall she had this wonderful, rich singing voice that was just amazing. When she sang, she became her voice. But the rest of her went away, and there it was. Amazing. She entered a contest, and it was for, you might recall, they had a Hootenanny radio or TV show. It could have been both. Well, she won. And I recall pictures, I've been unable to locate them yet, where, you know, the PR kind of pictures where here's the radio guy or TV, whoever it was, and pictures with her and the guitar and stuff like that. Well, they wanted to, you know, send her off on her career, you know, sign her up with the promotional stuff and all that. Mom and Dad would have no part of that. I still wonder about that today, you know, what might have happened. You know, they just think bad stuff, you know, that sort of thing. Not something she really did. So I don't know. She was always interested from that point on through college in folk music and that sort of thing, and so that's where that occurred. And I want to share with you just one last little thing. Tom Petty passed not long ago also, and I was going through some of his material, and something he did a while back, Wildflowers, part of that reads, and it just reminds me of her. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me. Far away from your trouble and worries. You belong somewhere you feel free. And I like to think that she's sort of gone, but she's still here with us and probably will be. And I want to thank you for being here to help celebrate her. I feel the love from you for her. It means so much to me. Thank you.
And I could easily say that up next is her favorite singer. Easily, right? Heroes and Sheroes with Neil Yonkers.
And there's a story about that. And I promise it's short. So the story about that is when I met Holly, I did not play an instrument. I was the antithesis of playing an instrument. I was a club DJ. Not good. So Holly tried to get me to play piano. That didn't work. Guitar, that didn't work. And I was like, hey, I can return this favor. What instrument would you like, Holly? Theremin? Thank God that didn't stick.
Did you try?
She said, and then, yes, she has a theremin. She has a theremin. Thank God it didn't stick. And then one Christmas she says, you know, I think I would like to try an auto harp. So I bought her an auto harp, and another one, and another one. And then we heard Neil and Colleen play an auto harp and bass, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And so Holly encouraged me and bought me a bass, and she got me singing, and she predicted at one point, you know what, there'll come a point when I'm not singing, but you are, and everybody's going to be asking to play with you, and I was like, come on. But it did turn out that way, and so then we got in the interesting position where we had two singers and two musicians, and we both would hear songs and go like, oh, that's mine. No, I heard it first, I want to do it. So about a year and a half ago, we were sitting in this very same room, and our friend Jen Gillies did this song that she had written. And I turned to Holly about 2/3 of the way through the song, and Holly was crying, and so I got to say, that one's mine. And Holly, through her tears, goes, that's not fair, because I would have called it if I hadn't been crying, it's so beautiful. So we got to sing the song for her, we got to sing the song with her a couple of times in public, and when she was in the ICU, I realized after a little while that singing a song to her made her more at ease, so there was a lot of songs that I would sing for her every day, and this is one that every one of those 39 days I sang for her. You inspire by how you sing your song. You inspire with your sense of right and wrong, with the things you say and do. The honesty shines through. You inspire. By the challenges you face, you lead with purpose and with grace. Determination shines when others cry and whine. You lead, and through all we face together, changing climates, wind and weather. You're the kind of person I want to be. 'Cause you love, though it hurts like hell's on fire. You love beyond lust or desire. Through the ecstasy and pain, sharing glory, pride and shame. You love, and through all we face together, changing climates, wind and weather, you're
You're the kind of person I want to be. 'Cause you inspire. By how you sing your song, you inspire. With your sense of right and wrong, with the things you say and do, the honesty shines through. You inspire. With the things you say and do, the honesty shines through. You inspire.
Okay, get the rags out and wipe your face so we don't look like we died in here. You know what? I just love that I have seen people that she loves. And I don't know about you, but when I leave here, I'll carry each of you in my heart. The music that you bring, the music that she enjoyed with you, she loved each of you so much. And can I just say from the family and from Niels, thank you so much. You know, as a community, even though some of us don't know each other at all, as a community, we carry each other with us as we go. And if there's two things I know about community, we love to eat, right? And we love to hug. So we can seal the deal today in honoring Holly by please get something else to eat and hug someone close to you. Don't take a moment for granted, right? We don't want to take a moment for granted. So will you just give somebody a hug and remember her? As long as you remember her, she stays with us. Thank you so much.